as you all know, or at the very least you should, if you check my community post that is, we had a server-wide event where we got to speak with the voice of genius, with the man himself, the one and only Hajime Kaneko, or more well known as the CEO of Genius Studios. Now, this event was hosted at the Discord fan server of Genius Studio, as currently Genius Studios themselves don't have an official Discord server, or at least not yet, which by the way could change soon. More on that later though. So this event was known as AMA with CEO, or more precisely termed as Ask Me Anything and I Will Answer, CEO. Now, the question started off with, and I quote, "If you could pick one of your games to get an anime adaptation, which one would you choose and why?" Quote end. Hajime's answer to that question was that he would choose one from the otome game genre and one from the bishoujo game genre. From otome, it would be Twilight Fangs, and from bishoujo, it would be My Rental Girlfriend. The reason that he gave us is that these two games have the biggest players and many people have requested for them to do an anime adaptation of these games. The next question to follow asked Hajime, what are some of his favorite characters from his company's games? The answer came as no surprise when one of them turned out to be Selena from My Rental Girlfriend, as this was practically their poster girl for any advertisement they did. The second one though was quite a shocker, as it turned out to be Satsuki Suzukawa from Imoto Scramble, a game that has already been removed from the Play Store. Or as far as I know that is, looks like the CEO's got a soft spot for the older games. Though the third one took me by surprise, as this was from an otome game, going by the name of Zero from Survival of the Dead, which I have zero clue about by the way, pun intended. Ain't too much into otome after all. The next question to be answered by Hajime was, will another writing contest be hosted in the near future? Well, with how the recent writing contest winner went and suggested an absurd idea for a story, I sure hope the next contestant doesn't suggest an even more absurd idea. Oh, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then let me be brief. So the written contest winner suggested they do a futa type story, as in the female love interest will all have packages under their belts, if you know what I mean. Good thing they scrapped it, or I sure hope they did, cause I ain't playing any story that starts like, and I code Toadzen97. Hello, this is my sadistic classmate. She has a bigger pole than me. That's my childhood friend. She also has a bigger pole than me. Then this girl's my stepsis. Fortunately, her pole is smaller than mine. Yeah, nope, nada, I ain't up for it. Alright, back to the AMA. The answer to that was yes. Basically, they need a writer for suspense stories, for both bishoujo and otome. So obviously they have to host another writing contest. The next question to be answered by Hajime was asked by Engen Iron Fist. The question being, what encouraged you to start making visual novels? Now this question is something most of us wanted to ask, cause really, how else do you start building your life around visual novels if not for the fact that there is a driving factor that encouraged you to walk this path, with all its ups and downs, highs and lows? Now, the answer to this question was quite vague, but the gist that I have been able to understand from reading into it is that originally Hajime likes scenario contents, such as comic book and movies. The reason he chose visual novels over others is because it is a combination of gameplay and scenario. His aim in choosing visual novel is because he one day hopes to integrate VR technology with visual novel games, so that he himself can play the game as the protagonist and enjoy the story with his friends. And that is why he wants to develop visual novels more. That is his dream, or that is my interpretation of it at least. Next question. Is there a possibility that Genius Inc. might one day make games for the Switch? In response to the question, Hajime announced that they were planning to make Switch games with changing UX and UI, which stands for User Experience and User Interface. But before that, they needed to pass the test set by Nintendo for releasing any games in Switch, which could take them a year or so, give or take. Next question. Would you ever consider adding more sequels, even more sequels, to games that were considered popular by fans? Now this question I was definitely looking forward to, as I myself am waiting for sequels for games like Death Game Royale or Spy Girls Underground Agent, and so on. And the answer that Hajime gave in response to that question was very pleasing to hear. His exact response was, "Yeah, of course. We will make sequel for some games. If you have any requests for the sequel, please let me know. We will make it." Next question. This year marks the 10-year anniversary of the company. When you started this venture, did you ever expect to see the business reach this milestone? A good question, if I do say so myself. And the response? Well, let's just say even Hajime was surprised by how many people enthusiastically play their games, feeling it as an honor, even promising to level up the contents of the gameplay this year, and releasing it in the coming year. The next question was asked by a fellow YouTuber named Welpy. His question being, has your company considered making more events related to the visual novels? Perhaps something like regular quiz pops, YouTuber contests? Now that I am behind on. Or even another writing contest. Well, we know for a fact that the writing contest is definitely gonna happen, since the two games from it, one on the Vishojo side, happen to be my personal favorite. Now which two, I don't know. I would like to think of more engagements with fans via social media. Definitely, you can hardly ever contact them through social media. They should really be more engaging there. Now the answer, well, I think he only answered one, that being the pop quiz one. The others, well, maybe later. Here's the answer. Yes, we would like to organize more events through social networking. For example, we are currently planning to hold a quiz contest and give away limited edition goods to those who answer the quiz correctly. Ultimately, we would like to hold offline events. Told ya. Next question. Would you guys ever consider adding a daily login bonus and weekly login bonus for Android users? For real, Android users are also humans! iOS users have this feature in Unveil, which makes it slightly easier for them to hoard rubies and tickets. Oh, and also let's not forget the fact that their game progress is saved, which means they don't have to constantly grind for rubies whenever a new game comes out. Unlike us Android users, we are simply not treated as humans. And what was the answer? Considering. Rather, we are currently creating a genius web store, where we plan to include a free loot box. The Unveil users already got it, don't they? Android users will be able to send the ruby and ticket to the game that you like. But no mention of our progress being saved. This is clear prejudice. Android users' lives matter too. Prejudice. Next year, Tozen97, adding on to Say's question with, would you add the minigame feature of Android apps into Unveil? I want to do some gutter rolls every day. Traitor! We got ourselves a spy from the rival team. We gotta make him pay! In response, Hajime had this to say. About minigame, we will change the other type of it. So far, Android has a slot that we made about 8 years ago, but to be honest, I don't find it interesting myself. So, I am assuming that all the minigames will be renovated. No! Don't take away my daily gutter rolls! My daily grind depends on it! The next question, X by Vesad8, was a very simple question. What is the first Genius game? In response, Hajime went full on Japanese with the title. Basically, I can't read. Here's the response. Do you know That was definitely Chinese, wasn't it? This has an English version. The name is Revenge of Kiss. But I forgot the name of title exactly. Worry not, Mr. Hajime, as there are many connoisseurs present among us in this Discord server today. And the hero to step forward in the time of need is none other than Sylvia Ibar. With her impressive knowledge, she calls out the name of the first Genius game in English, surprising many and astonishing Mr. Hajime Kaneko. The name being Pay for My Call with a Kiss. Kind of a long name, not gonna lie. Here's Hajime's response. Yes, we are considering the release. The system is old and players can't play it anymore, so we have to remake it. Here comes the surprise. Sylvia Ibar. That's correct. I'm surprised that you know this name. And with that, our hero departs. Till the next time a hero is needed. We got another question from Welpy. Here's the question. Have you ever thought of adding more games on Steam? As far as I know, My Maid Girlfriend is the only available game there at the moment. Will we see more games being added there, or any new games that would be only available on Steam? In response, Hajime had this to say: "We envision releasing it on Steam within the year. However, in order to be released on Steam, a certain level of quality is required, and I think that our game is not yet up to that standard. Therefore, we will release the game after we have created a higher quality game, such as one with full voice acting, etc. Oh, I sure hope the voice actor can say my name in slightly arousing voice." Grrr. Next question comes with Sei responding to Hajime, finding out the hero knows the English name by giving a background review on how deep the connoisseurs went. Here's the response by Sei: "To be honest, we kind of dug deep searching for the very old games, to the point we even discovered the idol games that has real life idols on it." In response to Sei's response, Hajime has this to say: "Oh, you know Idolbox? Yeah, that was our challenge project. Haha. Many fans of idols installed it, and moreover, one of the persons in that group became popular in Japan. What was the reason though? Was it the game or the fame? Something to think about, definitely." The next question was asked by Sei again. The question being: "Yes, I was able to somewhat play it, even though it's not available in Play Store anymore. The reason Hajime gave is the idol group disbanded, and the idol group agency asked us to stop releasing them. Dun dun dun." Next question: "Will we get more choice match style games similar to Time Only Knows, Hack My Love, and VVVVK Rogue Vampire Hunter, my personal favorite? Games where ending changes based on player's choice. They should really focus on releasing choice marriage types of games more. I don't mind waiting a couple of months, as long as I know my choice will affect the entire storyline. It will keep me more engaged with the story, in and of itself." Well, here's the answer. That's a very nice question. We will release more titles like that. To tell the truth, our scenario writer is almost not Japanese. Wait, almost not Japanese? Is it half Japanese then? But Time Only Knows, Extreme Mission, and VVVVK are written by the Japanese scenario writer, who is also the scenario writer of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Is it Toshinobu Matsuya? I'm guessing it is. Next question: "Are there games you regret making or dislike the final result?" Response: "Many titles. For example, recently, Yandere Triangle and Pain is the Best Medicine is some kind of regret titles. What were Crossfire Hearts or all that remains? You didn't regret making them? Come on now." Next question is made in reply to one of Hajime's previous response. Well, rather than it be a question, it's more like a comment. Here is the exact comment: "And they are my most favorite stories Genius made yet." I second it. Extreme Mission wasn't in Play Store when I found it, but it was really impressive. I can't tell, never played it. In reply to that, Hajime said this: "As a fan, not a company president, I think Extreme Mission was our company's most interesting work." Oh, now that sounds interesting. Looks like I will have to give it a look. After searching, I found this. Sounds very interesting indeed. Next question: "I'm curious about why anime games' storyline and plot are usually better and more serious than Bishoujo ones. At least from the same premise. For example, Yakuza. The anime did the premise very good, while the Bishoujo is, let's say it's not as good as Otome ones. Can't tell, I never really was into Otome after all." The response: "The reason is that our analysis so far shows that anime is more popular for its scenario-oriented approach, and Bishoujo is more popular for its character's appearance and personality. I myself think that the quality of Otome is basically higher than that of Bishoujo's. So it basically boils down to Bishoujo players wanting more cute and sexy girls, while Otome's fans want serious action. Totally understandable." Next question, or rather a suggestion by Welpy Lemon. "I think it would be more interesting and possibly be more enticing if there is a fun way to gaining points to get rubies or tickets. Say, something such as a small game like pixel shooting game with any Genius in-games in them would be fun to get points, rather than a slot machine where you patiently wait and tap your fingers on the screen for multiple hours. The grind never ends. Just thinking, this could be a good suggestion so that more players will be insurged into the fanbase. Haha." Hajime found this to be a good idea, as he had this to add. We would like to add more types of minigames and at the same time make it fun for everyone to play. We will be revamping all of those areas, so please look forward to it. As long as the gacha minigame stays, I don't mind. Next question. What exactly are your plans for Genius Bishoujo in the future? A good question. The response? We have decided until this December. For example, we will release Maid Project on 15th of July and Pirates Project on 25th of July and Wizard Project on 5th of August. So basically saying they are looking at the present for now, not the future. Next question, or rather a request. Wish to get more mature theme of Genius Bishoujo in Genius, like one in recent serial killer theme game. Response: we will release Murder Clown Project on this October. Please look forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Next question. Will you make your games compatible with Windows or PC? The response: when we release on Steam, you can play it on Windows and Mac. Please wait for it. A year or so later then. Next question is by Kotakunix. Starting off by expressing how it is an honor to have the opportunity to speak to the likes of the CEO. And while usually being not all that active in chat, we still like to ask a few questions. One being, what was the Bishoujo game that took you the longest to make? And the response: thank you very much, it's an honor for me to communicate with you fans. Honestly, it's time only knows project. Making this scenario needed 1 year. Sheesh, that's long. Here comes another question by Alia. Will we get more horror or mystery genre titles in future? Really love them horror side of Genius. Same here. The response: basically we will release horror projects once in 3 months. About Bishoujo and anime both. Then we Mr. Horror project this year. Mystery project 2. Next question / suggestion. I think Pain is the best medicine game is the best one to reintroduce friendship root choice. Haven't played, can't comment. Response: that's a nice idea. We'll make this kind of ending on other type of project. Like what? Next question. I really like the detective game mechanic introduced in Shop of Forgotten Memories. Will it ever make a comeback? I think it would work well for suspense-like stories, where the player has to dig for clues or lost objects. I must have missed it. Response: yeah, we will release this kind of escape game project, and to tell the truth, we have released The Missing Cat. This is an escape game app in our company. It looks interesting. Next question. Will you make more Yuri games in the future? There is yaoi, so I don't see why there shouldn't be the Yuri genre too. I gotta agree with that. Why isn't there any more Yuri games though? The response: we will release more Yuri games, but it's difficult to make it because we don't have any scenario writers who are good at Yuri games. The Yuri writer who made our games quit the scenario writing scene. Oh, so that's why. Next question. Will Extreme Mission later return to the Play Store? I want to experience it again with updated animation. Response: yes, we will release it in the future. Great. This story is also made with old systems, so it doesn't function now. Not great. Next question. Will games be given a bigger budget in the future? I mean, the overall presentation. Forget presentation, I want more lewd stuff. Response: yes, we currently have 2 separate projects. One for monthly releases and a special project for one every 6 months to a year. The later will have a very different UX, etc. So please look forward to it. I definitely am. We are spending quite a lot of our budget on the latter. Next question. Some might say that the reason why Bishoujo games have lower quality than otome ones is due to Genius Inc.'s monopoly in the mobile VN industry and nearly non-existent competition. How do you think about that statement? Wait, what? Response: no, to be honest, there are many rivals and I think our is a fairly small one. For example, in Japan, there is Voltage and NTT Solmare. Never heard of them. In other countries, there are Episode and Choices. Might have ring a bell but still doesn't. So there are so many rivals that I feel it is very difficult to survive among them. The next question tackled the doubts I myself had, asking, so does this mean we're getting to keep the current minigame, while the newer minigames are going to be introduced to us? Cause I wouldn't want the current minigames to be erased completely. Same here. In response, Hajime said, we are thinking of erasing the current minigame, but if there are many fans who want it to remain, we will keep it. Yes please, I haven't gotten used to the daily grind. Actually I have. In that case, we will just add new minigames. Next question. This might just be me, but what are the possibility of us getting close to Bishoujo games that ended in cliffhanger in first season and didn't get a sequel? It's not just you, bud. The response? Yes, there is. However, it is still quite difficult to allocate budget to a game that is not popular. So we would probably take a survey and make a sequel to the game that received the most votes. I'm voting now, don't stop me! Next question. Where is the location of your biggest fan base? Hajime didn't quite understand the question, so the response will come later. Next question. Speaking of time only knows, will the TV drama ever be available again?
君には恋人が3人いるらしい。早乙女チロルと申します。早乙女チロルです。早乙女チロル、18歳。
3人とも早乙女チロル。
ドラマ3人のチロル、年末年始放送予定。お楽しみに。
Answer in response is, it's quite difficult. I am negotiating to the TV company, negotiate for VVVVK Rook Vampire Hunter. That totally deserves to be on the television. We would like to release it on Amazon or some other kind of video streaming service. As long as VVVVK Rook Vampire Hunter is on TV, I really don't care. Next question. I imagine that game has several possibilities and paths. Talking about time only knows. Now, moving on to another question. What is the Bishoujo game that you have the most appreciation for? Response: as the scenario quality, time only knows. As the president of Genius, my rental girlfriend. Bias, I say. Totally biased. Next question. Which game were you the most passionate about making? Response: it's Perfect Blue Story. Don't know which one should be this. The suspense story. Next question. Have you tried adding more features into the game format? Adding storylines in chat box is nice, but I honestly wish there's more to it than just dialogues. So do I. I'm thinking maybe a feature where there could be a finding game at some point, kinda like Criminal Case, where you need to find items in a specific time range. I'm also thinking adding actions would be cool as well. Probably something like Cooking Simulator when a love interest asks you to cook for them. That sounds awesome! They definitely have to implement it one day in the future. Also, I'm going to sneak another suggestion here. Sneaky Welpy! Have you thought of bringing a feature where you can go to a specific chapter rather than the same chapter? Okay, that feature is a must. Would save a lot of time in games like Time Only Knows. Response: thank you very much for your opinion. We will add the systems more. I think we need to change the current styles. That you definitely need to do. Escape game system is very good for our story. The missing cat is our trial. Really? We will include the ability to go to specific chapters after we have more story branches. Understandable. The current system does not support that type of functionality, and it is quite difficult to implement. Indeed, it sounds tough after all. Next question. Now, I have an opinion towards a more recent project. Will you consider making a game with mechanics based on artificial intelligence like AI Love My Girlfriend? Response: we are planning to create a project to apply AI functions and apply them to games. For example, the AI chat function is a part of it. We are thinking of adding an avatar function, and we feel it would be interesting to include AI suggestions for avatar choices. Interesting. Next question is from Alia, talking about Extreme Mission and how it was one of the best story, seemingly normal choices becoming clue to get the right choice, wanting to play it again. In response, Hajime thanked him and told him to wait for the release. Next question. What game is your favorite that you and your company made over the past few years? Response: it's difficult to decide one. Time Only Knows, Extreme Mission, VVVVK, My Rental Girlfriend, Survival of the Dead, Twilight Fangs. Well, but we'll meet once more. Next question. Will there ever be Anibabe on Android? That's a good question, that is. Response. That's a nice question. We will make new Anibabe and Automania on Android in the future. Yes! About iOS, we didn't release the game on Android when we made Automania and Anibabe. So, when we do release them on Android, we need to prepare many new titles for it. Next question. On a similar note, will the games ever be released singularly on iOS and not just on Anibabe, Automania, Yaoist? Response. It's very difficult because of the rule of iOS Store. We have released single title on iOS before, but iOS Store prohibited that. That's rough, buddy. Next question, talking about the minigame. Can I get a rough idea on what this new game will be like? Cause honestly, farming this time has felt a little difficult with the new one, unless using some kind of auto-clicker. Response. For example, I'm thinking of something simple like memory game or shooting game. Now that sounds interesting. Next response is in regard to one of the previous questions. The question being, where is the location of your biggest fan base? Here is the response. This is the total installed data. So top is USA, typical Western countries. Next Spain, next Portuguese, next Russia. Okay, Russia, that was a surprise. Next French, next Germany, next Italy. Next question! I want to know more about the average age of Bishojo players and the average ruby spent per players when playing a game. I'm also interested in this. The response, average is 25 to 34. About the ruby of the title, it depends on the game. For example, the average is 201 game, but the other title is 100. Next question. Kaneko-san, what's your favorite food? Response, sushi, ramen, kinda guess this one, and beaten raw egg poured on top of rice. Next question, or rather a comment to one of Hajime's previous response regarding the game he was most passionate about making. Here is the comment. Saw the anime movie, loved it where the protagonist is questioning what is real and what is illusion. Hajime's response is, yes, it's my company's project name. And I'm surprised that you know this title. The movie was made by a Japanese anime creator. Should be Satoshi Kon. Yeah, definitely Satoshi Kon. Next question. I really like how some of your iconic novels give emphasis to sound design and background music. Example, Blood Moon Calling, Nocturne of Nightmares, Spirits of the Shrine, Adventurous Hearts, Hack My Love, My Rental Girlfriend, etc. Etc. should have come way earlier. I remember a former employee of yours telling me that the producer of Adventurous Hearts put a lot of work in the game's sound design. Do you think creative sound design is important as the visual novel itself? Response, I think it is very important. If you watch a movie without background music, I think it will be half as interesting. I agree. This is why a company put a lot of effort into background music. We have produced some BGM, bought the rights from others, and searched for the best free materials. Next question. With the recently released game, All That Remains, why did you guys go in that direction where the daughter had romantic feelings for the MC? It felt so out of the blue. Totally understandable. Most of us were actually expecting that they would have a father-daughter relationship instead. And yet, the ship sailed the other way. Response, I honestly think that was an ending mistake. So, father-daughter relationship was an option? That was the original plan. What changed? But we took the scenario writer's opinion that it would be better to take it in the direction of romance. So that happened. From now on, I won't make dangerous love stories like that. Understandable? Next question. This is a bit specific, but any particular news on when Devil Soul Inside Me 2 is gonna get released? First part came in last year December and no news of second part after it. Let me guess. It has something to do with popularity. Response, the producer who created that one has changed jobs, and I think we will have to make it after he takes over. Looks like I was wrong. So our goal is November of this year. Next question. Will there be possible collab of different characters from different games one day? I've seen some reference to other games from some of the games like Vampires and stuff. Vampires are mostly the go-to guys for collabs and stuff. Response: we have made that in the past. Survival of the Dead features characters from Mall of the Dead and one other zombie-based story. With names like Of the Dead, ain't hard to tell. Next question, talking about the AI. Wow, mechanics like that would be quite interesting. AI has a lot of potential. Now back to the questions. Do you have any sequels or spin-offs in mind for any of the Vishojo stories in the future? Response: of course. If you have a request for a sequel you would like to read, please let me know. I got a ton. Next question, regarding the location of the biggest fan base. Basically US and Europe. We Asians are nowhere close. Response: that's because we are not releasing our titles in Japanese or Korean or Chinese. Understandable. Next question, will you release Java visual novels for button mobile? For those Nokia users, eh? Response: this is also under consideration. I really want to make the game in a browser, not an app. That's because the current Google and Apple platform fees are so high. Must be expensive, even the CEO doesn't want to stay on their platform. Next question, or rather an attempt at flirting. No! Everyone are asking questions about the games, so I don't want to get to know him. Response: any questions are okay. Attempt fails. Next question. I find the averages surprising, to be honest. I expected it to all be younger people, so it's shocking that the average is older ages, from 25 to 34. Response: yeah, I am surprised that I know this fact. Around 30 is the biggest fan base. People looking for enjoyment after all. Next question. I really like the genre and honestly found about it from another similar movie, Black Swan, but definitely like The Perfect Blue more. Response: I like Black Swan too. About the kind of titles, Suspiria is what I like. Sounds sus, like literally is there in the name. Next question. Well, we have the same sentiments with you regarding the ending, talking about all that remains. Most of us here would have preferred father-daughter relationship instead of pseudo-incest with the daughter. In response, Hajime apologized. I think so. I'm so sorry. Next question. Rather, someone was after the sequel with that comment. My dog girlfriend too. In response, okay, we will make the spin-off first. Yeah, someone's definitely happy. I just know it. Next question. If you're being serious, talking about the sequel part, I have a couple since I can't pick one. Dead Game Royale, My Sweet Stalker, Class of Living Dead, Another Dimension. Response: okay, I see, we will make them. Next question. Has anyone asked whether steps to increase visual quality would be taken? I'm thinking about things like live 2D. Although this doesn't need to be the plan. The design now is not bad by any means, but design and visual are something that can always be improved upon. And related to all of this, I'm curious if they're eventually planning on pushing the limits on everything or just a few things. I just popped in, so I surely missed a few questions. Not to worry, your question is something to consider. Response: I'm thinking of introducing live 2D in the project I mentioned earlier, which would take 6 months to complete. That's long but expected, since it is quite a complicated project. It is quite difficult to get them into the titles we release each month. This is because it takes a lot of time to create animation using live 2D. Next question is in regards to the titles not being in other languages. But you released in Japan first though, although the games also had language variants back then if I remember. Response: yes. In the early days we used to make them in Japanese, but it was quite difficult to translate them into English, so we decided to make it in English first. That's reasonable. Next question. Curious question. Has there been any changes towards the YouTuber guidelines on making YouTube videos about genius in games? Oh, I gotta hear this. It relates to me after all. Sam basically told us the basic of it, but it's been a while since he mentioned them. If you don't mind, can you tell us what the guidelines are in case they're not the same anymore? Tell us! I wanna know! Here's the guideline, by the way. The response: there are no changes about guidelines. I'm doomed! You know Sam, don't you? He was a very good producer. Next question. Maybe adding undercover girlfriend, drug war theme was cool. Dual School Infinity, Mutant War. He's still looking for more sequels, I tell ya. Response: I'll add the list. At least the list is added. Next question. Is there any direct connection between the stories? That is there a GNU, Genius Novelistic Universe? Now this sounds fascinating. Response. Basically there is no connection, but we will connect it in some titles, like Survival of the Dead and Mall of the Dead. We need to use the same illustrator for doing it. Do you really need the same illustrator for it? I guess probably you do. Next question. I watched Suspiria years ago. It was amazing. My dad met Dario Argentino once. Sounds so Cindy. I'm still talking about the title, by the way. In response, Dario Argentino is one of my favorite directors, and I like Christopher Nolan and Clint Eastwood. Next question, talking about Suspiria. This one I haven't seen, but planning to watch. The concept definitely sounds cool. A ballet dancing school where students are secretly sacrificed to awaken a dark god. Talking about the synopsis of Suspiria. Response. Yes, that's right. Next question. By the way, have you ever considered having an official community for your fans? Such as here in Discord, games like Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, Reverse 1999, Bandori, Tower of Fantasy, where is this etc.? All have official Discord communities. Response. Actually, we are going to create that this year, but there was a suggestion that we didn't need it because we already have a fan community. But if you want official community for Discord, we will make it. Next question. For the appreciation of a game, my Switch Stalker was one I myself enjoyed and still remember. Response. Thank you very much. Next question. Which otome and bishoujo stories are set in the same universe? For example, Inferno's Embrace and My New Classmate is a Dragon have been confirmed to belong to the same universe. Do Charming Tales and My Jurassic Darling belong to the same universe as well? Are there any others? Of the Dead series are confirmed to belong to the same universe. Also, will there ever be a crossover project between otome and bishoujo? This is a nice question. Response. There has been no crossover between otome and bishoujo now, so it could happen later, right? As for bishoujo, I think Bukatsu Girlfriend and Occult Club were in the same world line, but it's difficult to cross over between otome and bishoujo. Why? That's because illustration is so much different, like otome for the plot and bishoujo for the girls. Next question comes craving for the sequel of My Sweet Stalker. That one being a definite thumbs up. A sequel would be awesome. XD. Response. Okay, I'll add it to the list. And the list keeps expanding. Next question, talking about Sam. He made some of the best emotional games for sure. Context. Sam made Hack My Love and Will Me Once More, two of the best Genius Studio games. Response. I think so too. Same here. Next question. That makes sense. You would need a massive team to do a live 2D every month. Every month? Sheesh! Response. Yes, that's right. We are a small company, so it's difficult to hire massive people. Haha. Yeah, understandable. Next question. I'll add other two. Definitely lump Nolan as well. One of the best director. True. Response. Completely agree. Next question. What other type of games do you like? Response. I like adventure games and League of Legends very much. Quantic Dream's adventure game is my favorite. Totally understandable. Now, remember when I said currently Genius Studios themselves don't have an official Discord server? Well, this question addresses that. I was thinking more of if you can make us, this server, the official one instead of creating a new one from scratch. Response. I honestly believe that is possible. The group itself is already thriving. Well, it sure is. Next question is still regarding the official Discord server. That would be more practical than creating a whole new server and building it from the ground up. I'm sure we would be up for changing a few things around here to accommodate any needs the company needs for an official server. Oh yeah, I'm totally up for it. However, turning a fan server into an official one is not something every company wants or is interested in. I'm sure we would respect the team's decision on the matter either way. Absolutely. Response. My concern is whether you guys would be comfortable with this server being the official server. Totally, we would be ecstatic. Next question. I don't know if you remember the proposal we wrote back then, but we stated there, the server will continue to be run by the existing fan moderator team, while being recognized officially as the place where Genius Inc. fans together to chat about their favorite Genius games. Official staff from Genius Inc. may be present in the server to monitor and interact with the community, but all moderation will still be handled by the fan moderator team. Genius Inc. will not hold any liability for anything that happens in the server. It goes without saying that if we ever damage the reputation of the company, Genius Inc. can terminate the partnership with us at any time without notice. We hope that with this partnership, fans will be able to interact with other fans and learn more about the apps of Genius Inc. Response: if the reputation of the company falls, it means that the quality of our company has fallen, so we will actively incorporate such critical opinions. It's not that serious, is it? Next question. But in order to be official, the ownership would have to be under Genius personnel, right? Would Sora be willing to transfer the ownership rights? Sora is the owner, by the way. Response: there is absolutely no need to have the authority itself transferred. I guess I would recognize the server as official and report any information from the company, etc. Now that sounds epic. Next question. Why did you decide to name the company Genius? Response: that's a good question. We wanted to dig up the genius in the world and send them out into the world as works of art. Admirable goal indeed. Next question. Do you have any favorite content creators? Do you also have any favorite Genius Inc. content creators? That is, if you have one. Response: Quantic Dreams Company. They made Detroit. Understandable. In my company, Yuichi Sano is the best creator. Time only knows scenario writer. That's what Welpy meant, but cool. Next question was asked by yours truly. Have you ever thought of working with any YouTubers? Had to ask. In response to my question, the answer I got was, I haven't thought of it before, but if there's an opportunity, I would like to do that. Heck yeah! Next question. Will you make a horror game like DDLC, Doki Doki Literature Club, which will modify or delete the game files? That is a must. Response: I would like to make it, but if I use the idea, it will be a clone. I'll think of a new gimmick. Yes, please. Next question. Will we get more fan writing contest? At this point, I think it has already been established that yes, we will definitely get more fan writing contest. Last time, the 2 games from it were absolute banger. What about more tragic bittersweet game? A lot of players definitely love ones like We'll Meet Once More, and I'm one of them. Response: one game of that type will actually be released later this month. It's a release from Otome. Not Bishoujo. Next question in response to the official Discord one. What we meant with that statement from our proposal was that you can cut off the partnership with us if we, the server, damage the company's reputation. We don't intend to damage, as we would like this place to be a place where fans can enjoy the games. Also, it will be a good place for you guys to hold events to engage more with the community. Response: yeah, I understand. Thank you very much for the suggestion. But now we are a small company, so I don't care too much if it hurts the company's reputation. Ha ha. It's not funny though. I am so happy that you are keeping this community a good place. Yup, you better be happy. Next, Hajime decided to make known his appreciation to all for the questions and suggestions. Thanks for all the questions and suggestions. Please feel free to ask me anytime in the future if you have any further questions. Looks like we got his permission to get our curiosity satisfied anytime. Next, we also decided to show our appreciation, starting with Shina. You guys deserve it for making such good games. Response: thank you very much. I'm really glad you said that. My English may have been a little strange, so I apologize for that. No worries, bud. I had a lot of fun today. So did we. Next question by Say. For events last year, we had a Bishoujo pop quiz, which I handled myself. I guess you guys can do more of that here. Response: that's interesting. I'll make the quiz for it. So soon? And I'll give out some prizes to the winners. Now that's what I'm talking about! Next, appreciation by Alia. Genius basically introduced me to visual novels, But first one I had was Made Girlfriend. Response: thanks. That's what I made as producer. Wow. The first game that got you onto this path was made by the CEO. This is what I call fate. Next appreciation by Kotakunix. Well, the name fits like a glove because you make works of art. Response: thank you so much. Next appreciation by Alia. Continuing on from Made Girlfriend. So I can say how much I enjoyed reading your stories over the years. Response: we will try our best to create more interesting works. Great. Next question. Also, other than what was suggested, some sequels to Angel Girlfriend and Supernatural Sweethearts would be nice, since it was implied there would be more. Response: list added. That's a long list, let me tell you that. Next appreciation by Welpy Lemon. You're absolutely welcome. I hope things will go your way for your company. Response: thank you very much. Next question. I think a circus theme game would be cool. The 3 love interests could be a clown, a jester, and a mime. A circus trio, huh? Interesting. Response: interesting. I have never thought about it. Circus theme game will be made. The power of the CEO has spoken. Next question related to the quiz. You can see how it happened here in the server event forums. We also had prizes as well. Response: I'll check it later. Thanks. Next appreciation by Kotakunix. It was really a pleasure to have a chat with you, Mr. Hajime. Equally, my English is strange, but it was still quite comforting this time with you. Your novels and stories have entertained me quite a bit since 2020, and I wanted to take this time to thank you for creating great stories and for entertaining us with your plots. Thank you very much for everything, Mr. Hajime. Response: thank you so much for your time as well. We will create more interesting works. Awesome. Next appreciation by Alia. Still about Made Girlfriend. It remains one of the best for me besides the nostalgic thing. Pretty much like all in the game. Response: thanks. We will consider making a sequel. The list is still growing. Next question. Also, wish to see more Battle Royale theme in the future, please. Response: okay, we will release it on November or December. I'll change the schedule for release. Well, we got more Battle Royale coming. Next question. We'll be looking forward to it, be it Dead Game, King's Crown, Soul Warrior Battle, or Dead Game Royal. Really like them. Talking about the Battle Royale team. Response: Dead Game is what I made as a producer. I like this kind of theme very much. Kindred Spirit is found, Alia! Next appreciation shown for Dead Game. Really loved all its twists. Response: thanks. Next question. Is there a reason why Otome character models look older, more mature than Bishoujo character models? I think we discussed it before on another question, didn't we? When you compare character models, male and female, of both Otome and Bishoujo side by side, I usually get the impression Otome characters are more mature even if the characters are similar in age. Yep, we definitely discussed it before. Response: this is because Otome's fans like that kind of illustration. Otome fans prefer illustrations with a high head height, while Bishoujo fans prefer illustrations with a low head height. Told ya we discussed it before. Next question. Will you make any H games? Response: we will consider making the H genre after the release on Steam, 1 year later. Next question. Regarding the H game. Does Google Play even allow those? Response: no. In that case, we'll release it on Steam DLC contents. Smart. Next question. We really appreciate your time answering our questions. We hope for the best and all the luck to you and your company. In the end, is this server considered official? Is there no need to share this kind of information on social media, or can it be done? Because in my personal opinion, more people can transfer here and create a bigger fan base. Either way, we really are happy that you joined this server, and please take care of yourself well. Response: if we should officially certify this server, we will officially certify it. Booyah! For example, we can provide information about future releases, secret behind stories, etc. Or we can provide some rough drawings and such. How about all of them? However, since I am new to this server, I would like to respect the opinions of the people who run this server. Understandable. Next question. I'm one of the Bishoujo fans that prefer mature looking illustrations. Response. Oh, okay, what kind of illustrations do you like? Next question. I'm not sure if you're able to answer this, but do you have any advice for someone who wants to make a visual novel? I am in a kind of a similar case to your starting point, where I like comics and wanted to see them in an interactive format. Response. I recommend that you first try to write the scenario yourself. I don't know what your purpose is, but if you want to do it as a business, you should put a lot of effort into the illustrations. A big tip from the CEO himself! I gotta write it down! I also think you should play through all the well-known visual novel titles, for example, games from Episode and Choices, the Fate series, and key visual arts. Next question, in response to the illustration. Like the styles of After School Girlfriend, whoever made the illustration of the girls there is one of my favorite artists now.
Inevitable indeed.
Response. Thanks, she is our company's illustrator. Next, appreciation. Just know that that game is a game held in high regard for many here. It has a great entry even if it is old. Response. Thanks. Okay, I will make better titled games. Next question. I agree, they look relatively mature but still cute. Talking about After School Girlfriend. Personally, I have loved the artist from Sakura Scramble. I think their name is
Hanekuto?
Response. Yes, that's right. She is a popular illustrator and now it's difficult to ask her to make illustrations. Fame is powerful. Next question. If we agree with officially certifying the server, we would be more than happy. 100%! We also want to respect your opinion and I think all of us would love more information. Definitely, early news is the best news. Since more people would join the server because of the information we have that you just listed, makes it even better! Response. Okay, we admit this is a Genius official server. Yes! What kind of information do you need? All kinds of information, please! I will talk with our SNS producer about this. Next question. In terms of officiality, when will you be announcing in your social media platforms that this is the official Discord community server? Response. Okay, I will talk with our SNS producer tomorrow. We are witnessing history being made! Next question. The moderation team is and will be discussing this privately. It seems we're all on board, but I don't think Sora is awake. Sora's owner, by the way. So we will need him to chime in. It's likely that he will say yes though. If so, then get on with it! Response. I want to know the result. I respect your opinion because this community is what you made first. Such compassion, but please just make it official. Next question. We will give you a firm answer on this as soon as we come to a consensus. When is soon though? Response. Okay, I see. I'll wait for your consensus. Next question. Have you ever thought about making more merchandise outside of just t-shirts or other clothing? Response. I was thinking of acrylic keychains, cards, and also a hug pillow. Oh, a hug pillow. Next, Hajime informs us of the end of the AMA, as he had this to say. Sorry, I will leave now. Please ask me anything you want. I will try to check this community as much as I can. Thank you very much for your time. And with that, the AMA with the CEO comes to an end. Hope everyone got their questions answered, and if not, you can always join the Discord server. The link is in the description below. And I have a one-to-one talk with the CEO, as he did give permission. So, without further ado, see ya next time.